And Governor Wes Moore wants Maryland to reach 100% clean energy by 2035, but others say that's out of reach. Fox 45's Jessica Babb is looking into Maryland's current energy structure.
She joins us live with why some lawmakers argue the governor's goal isn't attainable. Jessica?
Right now in Maryland, we import a significant amount of the energy we use. On top of that, power plants are retiring, and right now there simply aren't enough new projects to fill in those gaps, presenting real challenges to the state's clean energy goals.
Mic check, 1, 2.
With the start of this legislative session,
happy opening day.
Governor Wes Moore is setting the tone, making his clean energy goals crystal clear. Taking to social media in a recent tweet, saying with the General Assembly, we will reach 100% clean energy by 2035 by accelerating clean energy development, lowering costs, and growing our economy. Reiterating what's in this executive order signed by the governor last June.
And we've got to be able to make sure there are policies that's just making life more affordable.
But amid Maryland's energy crisis, how realistic is getting to that goal?
We believe that is really the second most important item that we face in this legislative session, the crisis that has been put before us because of the failure to address energy generation solutions.
Across the aisle, Republicans are quick to point out the state's energy policies are a growing problem.
The absurdity of all this is we're literally driving Marylanders' energy prices and other costs through the roof. We're driving businesses' ability to do business, their costs through the roof, because of the idea that somehow if we get to this net zero emissions in Maryland, we can save the planet.
This annual report from the governor's subcabinet released last month says the Clean Power Standard requires 100% of the electricity consumed in Maryland to be generated by clean and renewable sources of energy by 2035. It says the Maryland Energy Administration has identified issues and plans to propose policy solutions by the end of this year. But data from PJM, the regional transmission organization managing our grid, shows major obstacles getting in the way of the governor's goal.
Maryland now is going to be importing right now close to 40% of the energy that we need.
Since Maryland doesn't generate enough energy to meet the needs of Marylanders, some of what we import is from fossil fuels. But aside from that, breaking down what we do produce, since 2024 numbers aren't available yet. According to PJM, in 2023, only about half of the energy we generated came from carbon-free sources. Less than 8% of energy generated in the state came from wind, solar, and water sources, and 42% was nuclear.
The fact is we can't just keep worshiping the sun and the wind in Maryland.
So far, Maryland has been struggling to develop clean in-state generation projects. PJM says right now they have 65 new projects being studied and 30 available for construction, many of them solar. But a spokesperson says it's not sufficient to replace power plants going off the grid. A big reason? They say renewable sources aren't as reliable and don't produce the same amount of energy.
We have power plants that are closing without a backup, right? With no plan in place to create the commensurate amount of energy for our citizens.
And while lawmakers, especially Republicans, plan to introduce many pieces of energy-related legislation to address statewide issues, when answering a question about the budget last week, Governor Wes Moore acknowledged
There are some challenges we're going to have when it comes to things like I think about some environmental work, things I believe in deeply. But I also know this, we have a new incoming federal administration that is not going to support that work.
And again, this session, in the state legislative session, a lot of legislation is being introduced related to transmission lines, energy generation, as well as data centers. But right now, it's too soon to tell how much traction these bills will get. Live in Baltimore, Jessica Babb, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.